How's it going, everyone? I'm sure you guys are doing really well. The 49ers won. You guys are 49ers fans. You guys must be overjoyed. What a weird game that was. I mean, I didn't think the Niners were going to win it, so it's really important to just look big picture. The Niners won a football game on the road that I didn't think they were going to win, and now they're probably going to make the playoffs. All that really freaking matters, right? But I'm here to get into the minutia and to really analyze this team, and that's why you're watching. So, I mean, let's really be honest here. The Bengals were beating themselves. They fumbled, I think, 5 times in the first half. They lost the turnover battle 2-0. But they got back in the game. You could say the Niners let them back in the game, or they got themselves back in the game. It's a really talented young team. And they put the Niners in a position where they had to win the game. Yes, the Bengals were beating themselves, but they came back. And the Niners had to win it in overtime, and they did. They won it with their offense. That was clutch. That was something that the Niners can be proud of. So ultimately, the Bengals beat themselves because when you turn the ball over 2 times, it's hard to make up for that. They're a talented team, so they came close. But the Niners were clutch. And I'm going to give out lots of praise, but before I get to all the praise, let's just make some distinctions here because I think that's more fun. The offense won the game. The offense is the best unit on this team. Okay? In overtime, the Bengals got the ball first. Went right down the field. Nick Bosa sacked Joe Burrow in the red zone to force a field goal and limit the damage. But if the Niners offense hadn't responded with the drive, the game would have been over. The Niners would have lost. The Niners offense won the game. And what's interesting is they've done this a few times. This is the first time they won it, but they've shown this season, if they have the ball last, they're moving it down the field. I mean, they're very confident. They have phenomenal weapons from George Kittle to Deebo Samuel to Brandon Aiyuk to now Juwan Jennings, who made a 25-yard catch in that final drive. Huge catch. Maybe the biggest catch of the drive. To Jimmy, who's extremely confident at the end of the game. He seems like he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's gotten a lot of experience in these situations. So the identity of the 2019 49ers is the offense. It's an offense-dominated team. And when this game got weird, the offense pulled it out. It's clutch. It's really talented. From Trent Williams to Deebo Samuel to George. I mean, I'm going to give all these guys their due in this show, but it's really freaking talented offense. Among the most talented offenses in the league, which is why I think a lot of Niner fans would like to think the Niners are contenders. I mean, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel in their prime. Not to mention Brandon Aiyuk, who's playing great. And it doesn't matter who plays running back on this team. I mean, Jeff Wilson Jr. played well in this game. Jimmy's confident. I mean, he's a game manager, but he didn't turn the ball over in this game. Almost did. Anyway, it's interesting. It's for the first time in the Kyle Shanahan era, his unit is the best unit on the team. And it's a really good unit right now. Even with the limitations of the quarterback who can't move or throw down the field, really. He can throw down the field. He doesn't like to very much. Still a good offense. And if this team goes anywhere in the playoffs, it's going to be because of the offense. It's a hell of an offense. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about the defense, though. The defense is good, but it's not great. And this, to me, is the biggest difference between the 2019 49ers and the 2021 49ers. The 2019 49ers walked through the regular season, won 13 games, got the number 1 seed. I mean, that season was different. And the difference was the defense. This offense here is really good. I mean, it's just as good as the 2019 offense. No, they don't have Mostert. But they have everyone else, plus Aiyuk. They don't have Emmanuel Sanders, but they have Aiyuk. They have Elijah Mitchell. Deebo's become an even better player. The offense is just as good as it was 2 years ago, but the defense isn't quite as good. Like, it was the backbone. It was the dominant force of the team in 2019. It was better than the offense. It was the reason the Niners went to the Super Bowl, the defense. And that was largely because the combination of Bosa and Buckner was just really hard to handle. Really hard to handle. And they kept the wrong guy. They kept Armstead instead of Buckner, and Armstead's good, but not great. And this defense is good, but not great. And what's crazy is the defense isn't really even as good as it was last season. And they have Bosa now. Bosa didn't play last season. And really, it had better stats across the board last year than this year. And Bosa's having a Hall of Fame Pro Bowl year. So I think it's interesting that, I mean, think about it. Bosa's back. Azeez Al-Shaair has been playing at a all-pro level. He wasn't doing anything 2 years ago. But they lost Robert Saleh. That's a big loss. And they lost DeForest Buckner. Those two losses have turned a historically great defense into a good defense, which is interesting. I mean, it's too bad. Like, they should have been able to maintain that great defense even without Robert Saleh, because DeMeco Ryans looks promising so far. The problem is they just kept the wrong 6'7" defensive tackle. It should have been Buckner. They kept Armstead. And it's like, in this game, the defense couldn't close the deal. They let the Bengals offense go right down the field. Thank goodness the Niners have Bosa. Otherwise, that game could have been over right away. The secondary is, I mean, the cornerbacks are just terrible. And the defensive line, for all the resources the Niners have put into it, all the money and draft picks, it's not dominant. Bosa's dominant. The defense is Bosa, essentially. And Azeez, who might be out for a while. So if you wonder why I feel like this team isn't necessarily a contender, I'm looking at the defense. It's not the offense. Even though I'm not a big Jimmy Garoppolo guy, it's about the defense to me. Good, not great. Not as great as it should be. Aaron says, how you enjoying downtown Cincy? Crazy to think you're in my area of town. Aaron, PS, hell of a game. Go Niners. What's up, man? Good to see you. I like it a lot. Really like it a lot. I went to that neighborhood over the Rhine. Really cool. It reminds me a lot of Oakland, where I'm from. I mean, people bag on it and say it's not nice, but that was a nice neighborhood. I had some good meals. I had some good tacos. All right. This is my big takeaway from the game. The difference between the 49ers and the Bengals. So the Niners are better than the Bengals. We learned that today. And the Bengals are not contenders. The Bengals are pretenders. The Bengals may not even go to the playoffs. The Niners are more contenders than the Bengals are. They're a better team this year. The Bengals beat themselves in this game. They weren't ready for a big-time game. All they had to do was win this game, and they would have been in first place in their division, and they fumbled 5 times in the first half. They had a taunting penalty that extended a drive. They were not ready. And you look at them and you're thinking, they're a year away. They're a year away. But you know what? Next year, they're going to be really good. Next year, they might win that division. Next year, they're going to be Super Bowl contenders. Right? I mean, we saw it. What's interesting about the Bengals, like the Niners and Bengals faced each other 2 years ago in 2019 when the Niners went to the Super Bowl. That was week 2. The Niners won 41-17, eviscerated Cincinnati. Look how much has changed in 2 years. This game was way different. Went to overtime. The Bengals are way better than they were 2 years ago. New quarterback, T. Higgins at wide receiver, Jamar Chase. Way different. The Niners are pretty similar, but not quite as good. They lost Robert Saleh and DeForest Buckner. And so, look at them now. The Niners are still better, but the Bengals next year are looking like a Super Bowl contender. The Niners are the Niners. This is why this season is so weird to me. Like, Where the Niners stand, yeah, they're better than the Bengals, but one way or another, they're probably going to have to go to Green Bay or Tampa Bay in the first round and beat Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady in the first round. That's rough. That's rough. So, yeah, the Niners could win those games, but that's rough. And if they don't, then they go into next year with a totally different team. Jimmy won't be back. Trey Lance will be the quarterback. We don't know if he's good. They haven't played him. A lot of guys will be gone. And you don't necessarily look at the Niners next year as being like, hey, next year, the Niners are going to be hella good. They're going to be Super Bowl contenders next year. I can't say that. I don't even know what that team's going to look like next year. So the difference between the Niners and the Bengals is that while the Niners are better than the Bengals now, are they contenders? I mean, if they pull out some crazy upsets in the playoffs, the difference is the Bengals are building towards a real Super Bowl window next year. And the Niners, I don't see their Super Bowl window. Yeah, they beat the Bengals today. That's great. But again, their season is going to come down to, can they win in Green Bay or Tampa Bay in January? That's what's going to happen. And so today was great. Wonderful. You beat Cincinnati in Cincinnati. You lost to Seattle in Seattle. You beat Cincinnati's way better than Seattle. You beat Seattle. You beat Cincinnati. You lost to Seattle. That's weird. I can't explain it. Other than the fact that the Niners are just kind of inconsistent. But what troubles me about this season, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, a downer. I'm going to get into a lot of positivity in a minute, is the fact that it still looks kind of like a huge uphill battle in the playoffs this year. Go to Green Bay, go to Tampa Bay. And then next year, it's a whole upheaval. It's a different team next year. Cincinnati, you look at them and you're like, yeah, they're immature. They're young. They're a year away. But next year, they're going to be good. You know, it's like the Niners are like, they're almost 2 years away. Because Lance is going to need a year. He could look. I don't know. Anyway, the difference between the Niners and the Bengals are the Niners are better for now. Good evening, Grant. The Atlanta game, trap game or not? Yeah, the Niners can't take any team for granted. Any team. Because Atlanta would probably beat Seattle. And Seattle beats the Niners every time. So, yes, the Niners can't just. If they lost to the Atlanta or Houston at home to ruin it all after this dramatic win, I don't think they will. Grant, you really are biased. Jimmy was clutch, and the O-line sucked. Yet you give him a B? Why? Because he can't move in the pocket? LOL, clutch. Hey, some of those sacks are on him. If Trey Lance or any quarterback who could move were the quarterback, they wouldn't get sacked 5 times. He never steps up in the pocket. He just stands still. And when there's pressure in his face, it's over. So what do you want me to say, man? I mean, the offense averaged 5.1 yards per play. The Bengals averaged 6.1 yards per play. That's a huge difference. The Niners won because of special teams and a taunting penalty. He was clutch. Tim Tebow was clutch. We don't have to go overboard. I gave him a B. What do we have to do? Give him an A+ and a parade and a cookie? That's a lot. Do you think Kyle should have went for it to ice the game on 4th and 2 with 37 with 2:47 left and Cincy only with 1 timeout? No, that's not the way I look at it. What he should have done was run the ball on 2nd and 8. Should have ran the ball on 2nd and 8 with 3:04 left. Instead, he called a pass and Jimmy got sacked. That was the mistake. 4th and 2, that was not that. You'd already made the mistake. Hey Grant, were you in the San Francisco Report YouTube channel chat before the game tonight? No, I was not. Absolutely not. Talk about what you saw from Ambry Thomas today. I will. He's coming up. I promise. Can this 7-6 team go to the Super Bowl and win? Yeah, if they beat Green Bay or Tampa Bay in round 1, most likely. And I'm sure the Niners would rather face Green Bay because they came close to beating Green Bay in Levi's. But, it's going to be hella cold in Green Bay in January. That's what's going to come. Beating this Cincinnati team doesn't mean you can beat Tampa Bay or Green Bay in the playoffs, but it doesn't mean you can't. It's going to be hard. Cornerbacks are going to get eaten alive if they make postseason. Can offense score enough points to compensate? That's what I'm saying. Like, this defense isn't great. If you go up against Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady again, what are they going to do to Ambry Thomas or Dante Johnson or Josh Norman? What are they going to do? I mean, really, can we be honest? I know you guys are really excited and stuff, but the Bengals, like, what the hell were they doing? They spent 3 quarters trying to establish the run. And then when they were down 2 touchdowns late in the game, they're like, maybe we should throw. Maybe we should test Ambry Thomas. Oh, that works. Oh, we'll keep doing it. I don't know. I feel like anyway, enjoy the win. It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. Grant. Jimmy is so frustrating. He makes bad throws, then does that at the end of the game. LOL, can't beat Tampa the way Jimmy plays, inconsistent. Yeah, I mean, he lost the game with that pick 6 that Jeremy Bates dropped. If you give Jimmy a second chance, he's good enough to make you pay. He's not a bad quarterback. They gave him a second chance. End of story. But he did, stare that down, gift wrap it. That was a layup that Jeremy Bates smoked. Should give Gold an F or an F minus for a grade. Yeah, man. The crazy thing was, I filmed pregame stuff, and I didn't get the Robbie Gould stuff, but he was clanking field goals. He had a 48-yarder that he missed short in pregame. Didn't look good in pregame. I should have put that out there. Sorry. Quality control, yet again, failing the team. And also, good to see Kittle being used as a red zone threat. Yeah, Kittle's so freaking good. Sorry about what I said about him. He's still good. Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's still hurt too. He talks about how, the players talk about how his calf is still messed up. Can't tell. Jimmy Garoppolo deserves credit for taking the 2 deep shots. While one was broken up and one was dropped, he put them right on the spot for the wide receiver to make a play. He gets credit. He also gets credit for the pick 6 he should have thrown. He gets a solid B. They scored 3 points in the second half. They almost lost to a team that committed 2 turnovers and they committed none. What do we have to do? We really got to throw them a parade for this one? Come on. B. Good. That's a good. For a C+ quarterback, that's a hell of a grade. I'm sorry. I gave him credit. How much credit does a dude need? We should be grateful we won tonight. But 3 points in the last 2 second halves, I'm worried about our offense if we don't have a running game. Yeah. And it's better than the defense. The team is very inconsistent. Grant, I insist you ride the elevator with Kyle Shanahan and talk it out. I was looking for him, man. He was ducking me. Hard to find a dude like that. Big Tim, thank you, Big Tim. I appreciate you. All right, let's talk. Let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay. He's a very interesting quarterback. He's a game manager. And he managed this game very well. With the exception of the last throw that should have gotten intercepted by Jeremy Bates, he managed this game very well. He makes his typical big throws on third down. He made a few downfield throws for a change. Some really great catches by Kittle and Juwan Jennings, who I'm going to talk about in a minute. But for the most part, he's a good game manager. I know it feels like a pejorative to call a guy a game manager. It's what he is. Now, he threw the ball 41 times in this game. They won because of special teams, all right? Let's not give him too much credit. He was good, but he's a game manager. And when he throws the ball 40 times, the interception's coming. Or the opportunity's coming. And the way I saw it is the Bengals dropped 2. It was early. The out route, what was it? Eli Apple. It was Chidobe Awuzie, one of those guys. It was to Aiyuk. He dropped a pick. And then with a game on the line, Jimmy Garoppolo once again stared it down, telegraphed it. Jeremy Bates jumped it, dropped it. Would have been a pick 6, would have lost the game. Instead, he wins the game. So, I don't know. I feel like people after games always want to say, like, do you have a new opinion of Jimmy Garoppolo? Has he improved or gotten worse? Nah, he's the same guy again. He's decent. He's decent plus. And if you don't intercept the pass that he gift wraps to you, he'll beat you. And the Bengals didn't pick it off. So he beat them. I don't think he was the best quarterback on the field, though. I thought Joe Burrow was better, and I wasn't super impressed with Joe Burrow. But at least Joe Burrow moves around a little bit. The thing that kills me with Jimmy is how he plants his feet in the ground during the play. Why do you stand still? He got sacked 5 times. A lot of those sacks were on him. Now, Tom Compton and Daniel Brunskill are awful, but dude, move. You're allowed to move. The difference between like a guy like Burrow and Mac Jones And Garoppolo is those guys step up in the pocket. Jeff Garcia would step up in the pocket. Jimmy stands there. And so like people say, oh, his pass protection wasn't great, or well, he didn't do it any favors. He didn't. And it seemed to me that like he's in a situation right now where if there's no pass rush, if he has a good pocket, he's good. He's got really good receivers. Someone's open. He can make enough throws. But as soon as the pressure is on him, man, it's bad. I mean, it looks bad. He can't get away. He's bracing for contact. Some of those sacks were really bad. So, I mean, he's an admirable quarterback who makes some clutch throws with the game on the line, but he's still very much a product of the team around him, which makes him a game manager. And the fact that he won a game throwing 41 times for 296 yards is largely a function of the fact that the Bengals dropped a pick 6 and their special teams was awful. So 3-6 since the New Orleans game in 2019, when he's thrown more than 30 passes in a game, threw 40 and this one won. 3-6. You know, those turnovers are a big reason why. Good quarterback, but without the monster defense he had in 2019, I don't think his game managing style is going to get the Niners far in the playoffs. I'm sorry. You can have a game manager at quarterback, a good game manager, if you have a great defense, like the Niners had 2 years ago. But they don't have a great defense anymore. They have a good defense, and I think they're going to need more from their quarterback when they eventually face Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady in round 1. So, good job, Jimmy. You're clutch. George Kittle, though, damn! George Kittle is so good. I feel like I haven't given him enough praise this year, but I feel like at the same time, the Niners haven't given him enough opportunities. Like, he's been blocking all year. They don't use him in the pass game anymore. The whole season has been about giving Deebo Samuel all the touches. And then Deebo Samuel gets hurt, and boom, the Niners have to go to George Kittle. And they're like, oh, you're still one of the best players in the league. I mean, 15 targets, 13 catches, 150-plus yards, and a touchdown. One of the incomplete passes was a pass that looked like his arm was a little bit interfered with. They didn't call it a pass interference, but it was at least borderline. So, I mean, he carried the offense. I was raving about Deebo Samuel all year, calling him the MVP. Where would the Niners be without him? Where would the Niners be without Kittle right now? He has been their offense the last 2 weeks. He looks just as good as he did at any point in his career. He was having a down season. Now he's not. I was criticizing him. Now I'm not. It's really good to see the old Kittle back. He's a hell of a player. I mean, he had so many clutch catches, but really the best one was the deep one from Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy kind of overthrew him. And Kittle jumped up and made just a great catch. It was like a Dwight Clark catch. So, salute George Kittle. You're a hell of a player. You earned your paycheck today. What the 49ers pay you. See, that's what they had in mind when they're like, you know, we got to give this guy $16 million a year. He's that good because he plays like that. I don't understand the Niners, you know, minimizing his impact or whatever you want to call it, because look what he can do. Why would you not get him the ball like that? 15 targets? Yeah, that works. Nice. Good job, George. Hell of a player. Let's answer some questions. Jimmy gets too much credit for stuff he should be doing. Defense is suspect and offense is too reliable on Deebo and Kittle. Yeah. Jimmy is a game manager, which is fine, but he's also the 5th highest paid player in the league this season. So that's not fine. But it was fine today. Grant, your recent reporting on Ben Peterson is giving me more credibility that I did meet an ATL team doctor and the Niners are making a switch. Remember me telling you about the doc at the Jacksonville game? Oh, wow. Grant, Your recent reporting on Ben Peterson is giving me more credibility that I did meet an Atlanta team doctor and the Niners are making a switch. Remember me telling you about the doc at the Jacksonville game? Wow. Voice ad agency breaking news here. So you're saying that Ben Peterson's on the hot seat and the Niners are going to bring in – I think you're right, dude. I bet you you're right. And the Niners somehow scapegoat Ben Peterson. You know what? I don't know how we got this job. Hey, good job, voice ad agency. DM me about that. We got to talk. I think you're right. Aaron Banks really can't start on this line. Is he a bust? Yeah. Can we talk about Aaron Banks real quick? That guy is already a bust. Guards aren't projects. You either can play or you can't. You take a guard in the second round, you expect him to play. He's not playing. Bust. At least from the Niners' perspective. You can understand Trey Lance sitting a while. That's a different position. Guard? No. That was a huge mistake. But the Niners won today. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't Alex Smith. He's a good quarterback, but he's not great. I'm not sure why that's hard for people to understand. Yeah, man, he's solid. He's not a Pro Bowl quarterback. He's a game manager. And their job is to not turn the ball over, a.k.a. don't lose the game. You're not going to win the game. If the Niners win, it's going to be because of Kittle or Deebo or Aiyuk or Bosa. It's not going to be because of you. Just don't lose the game. Distribute it to your baller players. And Jimmy did that today. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when they gave him that contract, they thought he'd be more than that. Only reason I see Jimmy cut after a game like this is because of his contract. But could he restructure and start next year? Could. Yeah. He could if the Niners extend his contract. You'd have to extend the contract. Here's what the Niners could do. They could take that 1 year, $27 million, I don't know, make it like a 2 year, $30 million contract. But would you really want to keep Trey Lance on the bench for 3 years? What's the point? They could, though. They won't, though. Jimmy's gone after this year. I think the Yorks have made that pretty clear. Jimmy Garoppolo is Trent Dilfer. If Jimmy Garoppolo hits Sanders, the narrative is different. He's not Brady, A-Rod, etc. Cap was good for 1.5 years. We're spoiled with Young in Montana. Yeah. He's probably better than Trent Dilfer, but again, yeah, he's like Brad Johnson. He's a good quarterback, game manager, but damn, he's way too expensive. Definitely not Brady or Rodgers. Definitely not. Do you think Lance changes their draft strategy? No first rounders to spend on edge rushers. We saw them draft insurance over quality this year, maybe DBs. Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious that DB is their biggest need. They can't possibly not address it this year. It's obvious. They're at the Ambry Thomas level. They're the Dante Johnson level. They got to. Problem is, where they draft in round 2 might be too late to get a quality one. Montana in Super Bowl 23 against the Bengals got lucky and almost threw a pick in the end zone. But you rag on Jimmy Garoppolo, boy, you're something. Game managers aren't clutch. Sure they are. Absolutely. But again, like Jimmy Garoppolo, the game-winning touchdown was a throw in the flat to Aiyuk, who ran for 10 yards and then jumped. I mean, come on. What does he do? You can tell me whatever stat, but the eye test doesn't lie. He doesn't do things that other guys can't do. He's a fine quarterback, but Burrow was better. Burrow's making throws already that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't making. I've seen Joe Montana when he was young. He was making plays that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't making. Don't compare Jimmy Garoppolo, Joe Montana, please. You're embarrassing yourself as a 49ers fan. You should know the difference. Niner fans should know the difference between Joe Montana, and Jimmy Garoppolo. Please. Let some other fan base say something like that. Please. Can you report if Gould allowed on the plane home? He could probably pay for his own private jet. He's so rich. Okay, moving on. Juwan Jennings is a nice player. Earlier in the year, I was like, I don't even think he's an NFL player. He's slow. He's got terrific hand-eye coordination. That 25-yard catch on the final drive was as good as any catch George Kittle made in that game. It was as clutch as any play anyone made in that game. Who the hell is Juwan Jennings? And, one of my criticisms last week when the Niners lost to Seattle was that they didn't get Juwan Jennings involved in the game at all, or very much at all. They really just went to Trent Sherfield, who'd been on the bench for a long time. And I like Trent Sherfield, but you can't just put someone on ice for 2 months and then say, boom, you're starting and getting 5 targets. What about Jennings, who you'd been slowly, gradually giving more and more opportunities to, and he'd been, rewarding your confidence in him by playing well. So he didn't really get many opportunities against Seattle. Niners lose a game they probably should have won. We talk about it. Quality control says something. Boom. Jennings comes up clutch. He's back involved. He was really their number 2 receiver in this game. Their number 1 receiver was Aiyuk. Their number 2 receiver was Jennings, and Deebo's now a running back or something. I don't know. Jennings is he's so much better than Mohamed Sanu. Once again, the 49ers had to find out the hard way that one of their young guys is better than one of their vets. So, hey, they found out now. He's definitely a nice little replacement for Kendrick Bourne. They're different. But what I like about Jennings is he's taller than Bourne. He's freaking tall. He's a legit 6'3" with long arms, and he makes catches way outside of his frame, which is great for Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, when Jimmy misses like Trey Lance, he tends to miss high. So he could use a 6'3" wide receiver who makes difficult catches away from his frame in traffic. That's Jennings. Nice fit, good player. Who knows? Niners might have won. Like, for example, I like Trent Sherfield, but he wasn't prepared for that Seahawks game. They didn't prepare him. It's not his fault. On that 3rd down play, if that throw had gone to Jennings instead of Sherfield, do the Niners win that game? I mean, I know Niner fans felt that he was interfered with, but it did hit him in both hands and he didn't catch it. Would Jennings have caught it? I'm just saying. It's interesting. It takes Kyle a while to play his best players on offense. And I'm not even sure he's playing his best quarterback right now. But he gets there eventually. Jennings, one of your best players on offense. Keep giving him the ball. I like him. Jimmy Garoppolo was a B quarterback at best. Yeah. Yes. He did well tonight, but he still is an adequate quarterback, nothing more. Kittle was beast mode tonight. Yeah. If Bates just doesn't drop the pick, you're all looking at Jimmy a lot differently. And that's on Bates. I mean, there's nothing Jimmy did. He got a second chance. He did something with it. Great. B. I'm supposed to forget that? And it's like, it's a pattern with him. You knew it was coming. What happened? Oh, it was the throw over the middle. He telegraphed it. The safety was reading it all the way. I mean, it's like the same interception every time when it happens. That's why it was frustrating. That's why I can't give more than a B, because he did the Jimmy Garoppolo interception. It wasn't like, hey, it got tipped or you gave your guy a chance. It was like, no, you freaking stared it down, threw this. It's the same pick you threw against Minnesota. That's why. But I'm with you, Gregory. Yo, I'm not comparing the GOAT to Jimmy Garoppolo, please. My bad. I'm sorry. I got worked up. I hear your point, though. I just articulated what I was saying. It's that it was the way he threw the pick. I almost threw the pick. It's the same Jimmy Garoppolo interception. My bad. That was a better answer, I think. People that like Jimmy live their life in mediocrity. I guess. I don't know. My dad loves Jimmy. I think it's just rooting for the guy who's been passed over. I don't know. Also, he's such a nice guy. Team Lance, though. Would you rather play Tampa or Green Bay in the playoffs? Probably Green Bay, right? The Niners have shown that they've always played Green Bay tough. Even this year when they lost, they should have won, right? So probably Green Bay. Tampa, you really want to play Tom Brady in the playoffs? I don't. I'll tell you that. All right. Brandon Aiyuk. It was really big for him to win the game because he's been really scapegoated all year. He's young and he's not very outspoken. And so the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo won't cut the ball loose down the field, and Brandon Aiyuk is open left and right, as I pointed out to you guys on YouTube, he's really taken the criticism for that. Jimmy really won't throw the ball. Earlier in the year, wasn't throwing the ball to an open Brandon Aiyuk down the field, and Jimmy makes $27 million. Brandon Aiyuk has no standing, and they put it all on Brandon like, oh, well, he wasn't practicing well enough to get targets when he's open during the game. Okay, well, whatever happened, they got Jimmy the memo like, you need to throw to Brandon Aiyuk. We're not going to say anything about it, but you need to throw to Brandon Aiyuk, and he is now. And now he won the game. The game ends on a little dump-off throw in the flat that wasn't even designed to get a touchdown, that Brandon Aiyuk just flew. He got the ball at the 10, jumped it around the 3, flew into the end zone. That's a good skill set when your wide receiver can fly. Good player. It's just funny what he had to go through this year. Like, he had to be embarrassed. I don't understand why the Niners felt they needed to do that to him, but I don't think he deserved it. I don't really see a different person. I see a guy who really didn't have a relationship with Jimmy Garoppolo. He had a great rookie year, but it was mostly with Mullins. Because you know what? Say what you want about Mullins. He airs that ball out to his detriment. He doesn't see open receivers downfield and say, I'm not throwing that pass. Jimmy does that. And he'll look at Aiyuk and be like, I'm just going to throw the use check over here. Well, big redemption game for Aiyuk, proving that he's a playmaker. And now it's hard. Like, what do you do against the Niners offense? If you focus all your attention on Kittle, Aiyuk and Deebo will kill you too. So it's a big game for Aiyuk. And I still don't buy this whole narrative that, like, he's come a long way. No, the Niners have come a long way getting him the ball. Good job, 49ers, getting Aiyuk the freaking ball. Let's talk about Deebo Samuel. Miraculously didn't re-injure his groin. I do not trust the 49ers. Dre Greenlaw comes back, immediately gets himself hurt again. Fred Warner comes back, down, hurt his ankle. I'm like, oh, here we go. I just don't trust him. The Niners are like the setback kings, but Deebo comes back, runs 8 times, doesn't get hurt. And that 27-yard touchdown run, it's like a cheat code. It happens once a game. They're right outside the red zone. They're like, why don't we just hand off to Deebo Samuel, see what happens? Oh, touchdown. That's quite a nice thing that you can get every freaking game. Just the handoff touchdown from 20 yards out. Anyway, still a great player. That touchdown was, in the 3-point game, little things are the difference. That was the difference. But I said this after the Jaguars win, and a lot of people got mad at me and said I was being negative and stuff, but the pattern has persisted. He's now running back on this team. He got 8 carries today and 1 target. 8-1. What Deebo Samuel is on this team is the change of pace running back who gets a target one. But change of pace running backs get targets too. He lines up at wide receiver a lot, but they don't play him at wide. They don't use him like a wide receiver. That's crazy. I'm all for giving Deebo Samuel some carries here and there because you can see what he does at the 25-yard line. He's a threat to score a touchdown from the 25-yard line and even further out. But damn, 8 carries, 1 target, that's crazy. You don't do that anymore. What are you doing? He's going to if he gets hurt, it's going to be playing running back. You don't need him to carry the ball a lot. You want to pick your spots 4, 5, 6 times. You need to get him the ball. He got 1 target in this game. Caught it in traffic, mind you. Not the greatest decision from Jimmy Garoppolo. Just forced the ball into Deebo Samuel, caught it, broke a tackle, gained 22 yards. Like, yeah, it's great what he can do for your run game, but he's averaging like 18, 19, 20 yards. Come on. A catch? I'm not trying to whine and complain over here, even though I am a whiny complainer, but I'm just trying to help. Quality control. Throw the ball to Deebo Samuel. He's a wide receiver who can play running back, not a running back. I hope the Niners aren't going to go to Deebo Samuel this offseason and be like, so We're going to make you the highest paid running back in the league. How does that sound to you? Be like, not good. Not what I had in mind. Hey, Grant, just starting listening. Hey, Grant, just started listening this season. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Brian. You think there are way less PI calls for the 49ers the past 2 games? Yeah. Really, Josh Norman hasn't been getting called. I really feel like people have been letting the Niners off the hook, though. Like, if Ryan Fitzpatrick were back there, he'd be – you saw what he did last year. I don't know. I don't see why the teams don't just – I guess they're afraid of Nick Bosa. Thank you, Santiago. Could be that. Yo, Grant, love your coverage. I grew up in Rockridge as a Niner fan as well. Hey! Love your honesty and knowledge. East Bay kids know how to keep it real. Yeah! Rockridge, baby! I'm over by Piedmont Avenue these days. We'll definitely DM about ATL Doctor. Just followed you on Twitter. Voice ad agency. Maybe you can help me research him and truly validate it. Yeah, let me know. I will follow you back and we'll talk. Jimmy Garoppolo to Benjamin was horrible. He had to wait for it. It didn't. I don't hate Jimmy Garoppolo, but he can't make the deep throws. We have no deep threat. Jimmy Garoppolo C+ at best. Yeah, man. Like, the 2 nice long throws he made were just phenomenal catches by Jennings and Kittle. The other deep throw to Benjamin was so underthrown. He threw that ball way too high. So, I mean, I gave him a B and I felt generous, and I feel like people are here being like, wait a second. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, you can make the argument. He's a game manager. C+. I feel you on that, but I gave him a B. Promo code HAM. Oh, Haberman and Middlecoff. I love those guys, man. Shout out John Middlecoff, Guy Haberman. Just terrific, good people. Really good people. No, seriously, I love those guys. Nick Bosa. I said the 49ers should draft Josh Allen. And I stuck by that take for years. When Nick Bosa got hurt, I was like, see, there you go. I didn't expect him to come back and be this good. He's hella good. He's had 2 torn ACLs and a completely torn core muscle. He's hella good. How does he do that? Damn. That's my analysis of Nick Bosa. Damn. I mean, he's the whole defense. It's not a great defense. He's great. Fred Warner's cool. Azeez Al-Shaair had a nice little run. Jimmy Ward's solid. It's all Nick Bosa. Eric Armstead's decent. DJ Jones is decent. Nick Bosa is playing at a Hall of Fame level right now. And I said the Niners should draft Josh Allen. That's embarrassing. I'm going to have to live with that the rest of my life. Every time this dude gets a sack, I'm like, man, you're really going to the Hall of Fame, aren't you? Damn. It's like I told the Bulls not to draft Michael Jordan or something. It's a bad feeling. And the thing is, it's all over the internet, print, video. So people like me now, right? I'm doing good. This could haunt me this could end my career. Nick Bosa, every time he sacks someone, I'm like, oh, Nick, you're killing me. You're making me look so bad. And it's not going to stop. Next week, he's going to do it again. And the week after that. It's rough. It's like, how I bag on Buster Posey a lot? Anytime he hits a home run, well, he retired now. Anytime he hits a home run, I hear about it. But he hasn't hit that many home runs. Bosa, he hits a home run once a game. And I'm like, damn. Oh, damn. That's how I feel. Nick, stop. You've proven it, man. You're really good. You get all the sacks. You really want to put me out of business? You really need to do that? Come on. Enough is enough. No, really, this dude is he could be better than Aldon Smith. I always said Aldon Smith was better than him, but the consistency for Nick Bosa, and I'm not saying that Aldon Smith was a product of Justice Smith because he wasn't. Of course not. But that was a nice tandem. Bosa's got freaking Armstead. Armstead! That ain't Justin Smith. So, Nick Bosa, salute. I was wrong. You were right. I'm still blocked on Twitter. Would you unblock me? We should hire the Bosa family for our strength and conditioning team. They do know how to rehab his. That's what I'm saying. John Bosa should be in charge of the whole damn thing. And then Nick too. Gold, old kicker, swindled Niners to make him rich. Yeah, man. Let me get rich too. Can I be? Can I be rich next? All right. Let's talk about Ambry Thomas. Look, in retrospect, it's amazing that the Niners won with Ambry Thomas starting a game. I picked the 49ers to lose for one reason. Ambry Thomas. And you can see why I did, right? I had no idea that the Bengals were going to fumble 5 times in the first half and muff 2 punts and extend a drive with a taunting penalty. I couldn't know that. But I was right about Ambry. I knew that was going to, you knew that was going to happen. He was so bad. And it could have been worse. He had the 2 penalties. One negated an interception, one negated a sack, what would have been Bosa's 3rd sack. So that's not good. But that wasn't even the beginning of the worst. He gave up the long touchdown throw to Chase early that got called back because the ball hit a blade of grass. Good call. But there was nothing that Thomas did. That was just a lucky break that he got. And then the Bengals inevitably went back to it, double move, boom, touchdown. It could have been worse. He gave up every single big play the Bengals had was a long throw up Thomas's side. And that's why I picked the Bengals. I feel like when Thomas gets beat, it's going to be one of 2 ways. One, he's given a really big cushion and he gives up like a 12-yard slant. He gave up a few of those. Or he gets beat deep. That happened too. He ended up giving up the touchdown. Could have been worse. Dante Johnson is way better than Ambry Thomas. Deommodore Lenoir is way better than Ambry Thomas. Maybe Ambry Thomas will be good someday, but he's really bad. And again, the fact that the Niners won this game with him is amazing. Maybe the fact that he wasn't on the field at the end had something to do with the fact they won. He hurt his head, may have a concussion. I don't know. And I hope he doesn't. I hope he's okay. But he can't play anymore this year. If this team is a contender, if this team's going to, he could cost you a game against Atlanta or Houston. He ain't ready. He's the worst player on the team. Can't have him out there. He had some promising moments, I guess. No, he didn't. I'm sorry. Did he have any pass breakups? No. Really what happened was that the Bengals, one of these teams is like, I don't cover them, but they're doing what they want to do, not what they have to do. You keep running the ball. You keep looking at the 40. Here's what happened. D'Amico kept playing 2 high safeties to protect Ambry. 2 high safeties. And so the Bengals were like, oh, that's a good run look. Let's hand off to Joe Mixon. Okay, so that's super dumb. Other team, like the Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, they won't make that mistake. They'll see Ambry Thomas in the field and they'll punish him for 4 quarters, not for 1 quarter, which is what the Bengals did. So Ambry, not going to see him again for a while. It's going to be Lenoir. It's going to be Dante Johnson. But the fact that the Niners won this game with him on the field is truly remarkable. And the fact that the Bengals lost the game with Ambry Thomas on the field is truly remarkable. Nice going, Cincinnati. Last thing. This is the worst news of the game. This game was, a huge celebration, right? After the game, I heard the Niners in their locker room, and it sounded like they just won the division. They were really, really happy, as they should be. This was huge, almost locked up playoffs for them. But Azeez Al-Shaair has a serious injury. We don't know exactly how bad it is yet, but it doesn't sound good. Sometimes if the Niners think they've dodged a bullet, they say so. After the game, Kyle Shanahan was just like, oh, he's going to have imaging. We'll have to see. Sounded kind of like they're expecting the worst and hoping for the best, as opposed to with Deebo a couple of weeks ago where they clearly expected the best. Really, really too bad, because you talk about comparing this team to 2019. A big difference is him. He is so much better than anything they had in 2019 at linebacker. They still have Warner, but next to Warner, it was Greenlaw and Quan Alexander. Azeez Al-Shaair is better than both of them combined. He might be better than Fred Warner. He is the violent, Tasmanian devil on the defense everywhere. He misses some tackles. He's not perfect, but he's a huge asset. He's really what set this defense apart from the 1-2 years ago, and he's gone, at least for now. So we're going to have to get an update, but funny how the NFL is, right? Like the Niners win a game in overtime, and you're thinking, who cares how they freaking won? This feels great. A win's a win, baby. And it is. But especially in December, usually wins come with a price. Who'd you lose? Oh, you lost Al-Shaair? Last week they lost Mosley? Those are two of your best players on defense. Now, you should be able to beat Atlanta, Houston without those guys, but what if you don't have Mosley and Al-Shaair against Green Bay or Tampa Bay? It gets much harder. Anyway, it's. I think we're all rooting for Azeez Al-Shaair, one of these undrafted guys who's putting himself in a position to become a rich superstar in the NFL. Like those are the best stories. And now he's hurt again. Those are the worst stories. So as a guy who just appreciates the come up, I feel bad for Azeez Al-Shaair. As a Niner fan, I think you probably feel bad for their defense. We'll have to see what happens, but at least, I mean, they don't have Dre Greenlaw either. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. Linebacker depth, all of a sudden. The defense in general. Got to get Robert Saleh back. Maybe they got to call up Reuben Foster. Quan. Page and Quan. There is no way in hell you keep both rookie DBs, cut your losses, and move on. Anything less is stupidity. Still mad Asante Samuel Jr. is not on the team. I don't see what those two rookie DBs look terrible. That's why you got to draft corners earlier in the draft. Those late round corners are kind of worthless. They're like special teams players at best. I don't know what you think you're getting when it's a premium position. You think NFL teams are going to pass on really good corners 3 times? All of them? You even passed on them. I don't know. Okay. I'm exhausted. I know I said I was going to do a Cohn phone. I'm really tired and I haven't eaten dinner. Can we do a Cohn phone in the morning? I'm going to be here until I have a flight out of Cincinnati at 3 in the morning, at 3 in the afternoon. So if you guys want to wake up in the morning, I got time to kill. Can we do that? Do you guys mind? I know I could take some calls. I'm just tired. Hella tired. I haven't eaten. What do you guys think? I'm easily impressionable. No? Let's take an informal poll. Smash that like button. I haven't had Skyline chili yet. I'm going to try it. I promise. But I had Eli's barbecue yesterday. Eli's barbecue was the bomb. I loved it. Hella good. But as a Californian, I think I like any barbecue because there is no barbecue in California. Anytime I'm in this part of the country and I have like a rib, I'm like, damn, that's what it's supposed to taste like? Wow. That's not what we get in Oakland. Yeah. What's too bad is that the Niners left and I can't like run into them anymore. All right, guys, I'm going to go to sleep. I appreciate you guys letting me off the hook because I would have stuck around and taken your calls, but I'm going to go to sleep. But I'll be back in the morning. Can you guys, is 8 o'clock Pacific time on a Monday? Can you guys do something like that? Because I kind of got to get out of here around 12:31 my time, East Coast. So, I mean, if you guys want to wake up at 8 o'clock, do a little AM radio kind of thing, I'll be up. So I'll put it out on Twitter. We'll talk about it. But yeah, think about 8 o'clock Pacific. All right, guys, let's do it. I'll see you guys.